You're listening to the WrestleHavoc Podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. We talk all that goes on in the realm of WWE and AEW every week. And now, here's your host, the one that will give you a reality check on pro wrestling, Flamin' Ricky Duraeus. This is the WrestleHavoc Podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is Flamin' Ricky Duraeus right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast, here to review Friday Night SmackDown from June 2nd, 2023. It is the 1,000-day celebration of the historic title reign of your tribal chief, the head of the table, the head of the bloodline, Roman Reigns. We got a lot to discuss right here on the SmackDown review, primarily regarding Roman Reigns. Everything else revolving SmackDown was kind of second fiddle, if you want to say that. I mean, nothing really special happened on the show besides the Roman Reigns thing. I mean, we had Money in the Bank qualifying matches, and that was really it. Nothing really special happened on the show besides the closing segment, that being with Roman Reigns and his 1,000-day celebration of his historic title reign. But overall thoughts on SmackDown: really wasn't the best show overall as a whole. Nothing really special, to be quite honest with you. Yes, we did have Money in the Bank qualifying matches, but really, to me, that doesn't really make it a good show. We had Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly team up against the Brawling Brutes. It was a pretty good opener, but aside from that, really, nothing else really stood out on the show, to be quite honest with you. But that Roman Reigns segment was absolutely fantastic. If there's anybody in the wrestling community that is denying that the Bloodline storyline is the hottest story in wrestling, then I have no fucking idea what you are smoking, because, you know, the biggest thing that, you know, there are two takeaways to take away from Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Number one, everything that Roman Reigns touches turns to gold. Literally, this man has put over Jey Uso, like literally put Jey Uso in a much better position. Now we're on the verge of them putting Jimmy Uso in a much better position. Sami Zayn is now a bigger star than he already was. You know, Paul Heyman even himself has been fantastic, and we're probably, maybe, as what we saw in this segment, on the verge of having Solo Sikoa being elevated even further after this segment. So I have to talk a lot about this whole thing, but the second takeaway from this is the fact that the Bloodline storyline gives you that unpredictability nature, and it keeps you invested every freaking week because you don't know what the hell is going to be happening. You think that this is going to happen, but they literally turn the opposite direction and go this direction. That is basically the whole gist of the Bloodline storyline, and it has been nothing but pure perfection, in my opinion. But that is my initial thoughts on this whole segment regarding the whole Roman Reigns 1,000-day celebration. Before I get on with all this craziness regarding Friday Night SmackDown, make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc Podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and, as the friggin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the WrestleHavoc Podcast is also available on audio platforms. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the WrestleHavoc Podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. Plus, if you guys missed it, the AEW Dynamite review is up on the channel. Of course, the big topic that we are going to be discussing, or that I already discussed on the Dynamite review, is CM Punk's return is officially announced for the premiere of AEW Collision, which is very much well expected. It was a smart move by Tony Khan to announce CM Punk well in advance. Tickets are actually flying fast. Now, so far, the United Center is still not a sellout, but tickets are still relatively flying fast. And CM Punk is guaranteed to return for AEW Collision. So I'm going to be talking about that and much more on the AEW Dynamite review. If you guys haven't checked it out, the link will be in the description below. Also, guys, episode 16 of the WrestleHavoc Podcast will be uploaded tomorrow right here on the channel Of course, I'm going to be talking a lot, especially regarding CM Punk. Of course, we got plans for CM Punk that are in the news. Apparently, first it looked like it was going to be CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. Then it was going to be CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, which I believe that is still the plan for AEW Collision. But now we're getting reports that CM Punk wants to work with Switchblade Jay White. So I'm going to be talking about that and much more on episode 16 of the WrestleHavoc Podcast, in which we discuss all the news and rumors regarding everything professional wrestling. We're going to be talking about CM Punk and much more. But yeah, stay tuned to the WrestleHavoc Podcast for episode 16 tomorrow. But let's get into the SmackDown review. SmackDown kicks off with a video package highlighting the historic title run of Roman Reigns dating back to August of 2020 at the Payback pay-per-view, in which Roman Reigns defeated both Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman to become the Universal Champion. And since then, the Universal Championship has been nothing more, or I should say nothing but a spectacular championship at the end of the day, because before that, nobody remembered Braun Strowman's title reign. I am so sorry, but nobody gave a single fuck until Roman Reigns got that title. And from then on, they showcased the amount of days that he held that title for. They showcased WrestleMania 38, in which he beat Brock Lesnar to gain the WWE title. They showcased Cody Rhodes as well. Very well done video package, man. If there's one thing, and I know there's a lot of WWE haters out there, but the one thing, even if you do not like WWE, the number one thing that you have to admit is their fucking, their production team, they are top notch, man. Every time when they put together a video package, they always put 110% when it comes to that video package. So hats off to the team at WWE for putting together this well-made video package for yours truly, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. We kick off with Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly taking on the Brawling Brutes. This was a hot opener to SmackDown. This was a very, very, very hot opener. The crowd, for some reason, was literally excited, especially for Sheamus, man. Sheamus is so over with the crowd, if you guys do not know that already. But before the match even started, Austin Theory gets the microphone, and he welcomes all of us to Austin Theory Live. No need to have an attitude, because tonight is a very special night. Tonight is a celebration of Roman Reigns' historic title reign of over 1,000 days. But you know what's even better? If you took Roman Reigns' title reign and combined it with the greatest United States champion of all time, Austin Theory's United States title reign, that'd be over 1,200 days. It's impressive. And as inspiring as beating John Cena at WrestleMania was, we all know he will have a 1,000-day celebration for this particular title, or a 2,000-day, or a 3,000, or a 4,000-day celebration. If they keep giving him guys like Sheamus, he will be the United States champion forever. He is 25 and the greatest to ever do this. When you are this great, everybody wants to gravitate towards you. And then all of a sudden, he brings out Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly end up cutting a promo, and they come here to tell him that it was a pleasure destroying the ugly gremlins like the Brawling Brutes. And unlike Sheamus, Theory is a champion that the people deserve. And they come out to appreciate him, and then they do this freaking pose down. Whatever. But yeah, that was the opening promo with Austin Theory. And then the Brawling Brutes come out, and then we have the 6-man tag team match. Overall, the match was very good. The heels, of course, got the win. Holland and Elton Prince start. We get a shoulder tackle by Rich Holland. After that, we get a headbutt by Holland, and then he takes him into the corner turnbuckle. After that, Butch tags in, and then we get a dropkick by Butch and a suplex by Rich Holland. Then Prince goes for a couple of body shots. After that, Kit Wilson tags in, and then we get a running elbow by Wilson. Wilson then continues to work on Butch, and then we get a cover and a near fall. We then get a side headlock by Wilson, but then Butch takes out Wilson. After that, he misses a kick, and then Theory makes the tag. After that, Sheamus tags in, and the pop in the arena was fucking insane. So once we're back from commercial break, Prince is in control over Butch. We then get a right hand by Elton Prince. After that, Austin Theory makes the tag. He takes out Rich Holland. After that, he stomps on Butch. He tags in Wilson and then stomps on Butch once again. After that, Butch ends up going for an uppercut. Elton Prince tags in. We then get repeated kicks by Prince when Theory holds on to Butch. After that, we get an overhead chop by Butch on Prince. We then get a boot by Butch into the corner. After that, he ends up hitting a tornado DDT off the second rope on Elton Prince. After that, he tags in Sheamus. Theory makes the tag, but then Sheamus sends Theory into the corner. He then slams him down, and then he proceeds to take out Pretty Deadly. And then they try to go for the double 10 beats of the Bowering. After that, we get a roll-up by Theory, and we get a near fall. Then, after that, we get an Irish Curse backbreaker on Theory by Sheamus. Then he goes for the Irish Curse backbreaker on Wilson, and then the same move on Elton Prince. After that, all three members of the Brawling Brutes pick up all heels, and they go for a triple white noise. I love the fucking Brawling Brutes, man. They're absolutely fantastic. Then after that, Sheamus ends up hitting the bro kick, but then Pretty Deadly drag Theory out after the bro kick spot. Sheamus goes to the top, but then Holland runs through Pretty Deadly, but then Sheamus takes out Pretty Deadly. Butch ends up hitting a moonsault off the top to on the outside. Once we're back from break, Butch ends up going for a German suplex on Prince, but then we get an enziguri by Butch. Then we go for another enziguri after that, and then he goes for the enziguri on both members of Pretty Deadly. Rich Holland tags in. We then get the double team attempt by Butch and Holland. Sheamus ends up going for the diving knee on Prince. After that, we get a cover into near fall. Sheamus picks up Prince, but then Prince ends up escaping. He then hits a boot, and then Wilson tags in. Wilson goes for a codebreaker-like move. And then Theory picks up Sheamus, and then he hits the A-Town down. I think that was the A-Town down. Jesus Christ, it's like I'm forgetting finishers at this point. We got a cover into near fall, and then Theory hits repeated right hands on Sheamus, but then Sheamus goes for a clothesline on Theory. Then after that, he goes for a belly-to-belly throw on Prince, and then Wilson comes in. Butch hits an enziguri, but then Butch gets taken to the outside. Theory then goes for a rolling shotgun dropkick attempt, but then lands into a furious knee by Sheamus, which was one of my favorite spots of the whole night. After that, cover by Sheamus and a near fall, but then Holland and Prince tag in. After that, Holland picks up both Prince and Wilson, but then drops them down. After that, all three members of the Brawling Brutes hit the triple 10 beats of the Bowering, but instead of 10, it's 20 beats. So absolutely insanity right there. Holland then slams down Wilson, but then we get a cover into near fall when Theory makes the save. And then Theory hits the knee on the face of Butch, but then Sheamus takes him to the outside, and then Theory sends Sheamus to the post. After that, Pretty Deadly switch themselves up, but then Wilson hits the chop block from behind. At this point, Elton Prince is the legal man. And then Pretty Deadly end up hitting the split milk. And we get a cover by Theory because Theory is the legal man at this point. We get a cover, and all three heels get the win over the Brawling Brutes. This was a great match to open up SmackDown. I'm absolutely loving the Brawling Brutes, man. They're starting to become, besides Roman Reigns, one of my favorite things on the whole show. I really miss the fact that Imperium is not on SmackDown anymore because I absolutely fucking loved their feud late last year, and it sucks that they are on Raw, but hopefully they do better things over there. But what are they going to be doing with Austin Theory? I have absolutely no idea. Pretty Deadly and Austin Theory, in my opinion, is not really that good of a pairing, but we'll see what they do with them. It's going to be a temporary thing. I don't think it's going to be something that's permanent. But hopefully they do some good things with the Brawling Brutes down the line in the future. After that, Paul Heyman is with Solo Sikoa, and they need to make this whole celebration special for the Tribal Chief, says Paul Heyman, especially because of everything that happened at Night of Champions. He knows that he feels the same way he does. And then Paul Heyman tells Solo Sikoa that he will talk to Adam Pearce, and he will make sure that his brothers, the Usos, aren't here tonight, so tonight is the night that they acknowledge Roman Reigns. After that, we got the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. I still call them the Good Brothers for some reason. Gallows and Anderson, a part of the OC, taking on Hit Row, the most irrelevant group on the entire WWE roster. I rest my case. They are absolutely fucking irrelevant. Mia Yim said it herself. She was going on a tirade on Twitter because of Hit Row. But Hit Row is not the same without Swerve. We got the Good Brothers versus Hit Row. This was not even a short match. This was not even a long match whatsoever, man. This match was short. Adonis goes after Carl Anderson. Top Dollar tags in. Michael Cole's hilarious on commentary. He just loves shitting all over Top Dollar. Then we get a double team attempt by Hit Row, and then we get a back elbow by Top Dollar, but then Adonis tags back. Then he drives the knee onto the back of the neck of Carl Anderson. B-Fab, who was on the outside, gets involved without the referee looking. Adonis is in control over Carl Anderson, but then Anderson ends up hitting the spine buster. Gallows tags in. We then get a boot by Gallows, and then he goes for a boot on Top Dollar. After that, we get a back elbow by Gallows, and then he ends up going for a running uppercut on Ashante Adonis. After that, he drops him down, but then Carl Anderson makes the tag. Then the Good Brothers end up hitting the Magic Killer, and we get a cover, and the OC end up getting the win. After the match, Top Dollar attacks him because, of course, Hit Row are heels. And then AJ, from behind, ends up hitting the phenomenal forearm on Top Dollar, and the baby faces, that being the OC, stand tall in the middle of the ring. And by the way, this was AJ Styles' birthday, so happy birthday to the one and only phenomenal AJ Styles. Speaking of AJ Styles, I actually recently watched Unbreakable 2005 with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels. That fucking match still holds up, man. I haven't watched that match in months. I mean, I've watched that match. I've known that match for years, and I've watched it for years, but I watched it back, again, today. Fucking awesome match. If y'all, I mean, everybody has watched that triple threat match, but if you haven't, by any fucking chance, watch that goddamn match. It's fucking amazing. All right. Adam Pearce backstage with the wise man himself, Paul Heyman. The Usos, travel expenses, everything. The travel, them coming in, everything is canceled when it comes to the Usos. They will not be here tonight. Also, Adam Pearce tells Paul Heyman that he has doubled down on security. Paul Heyman then has a smile on his face, picks up the phone, and he says, "Call Roman Reigns." After that, we got the Grayson Waller effect. I remember as soon as this segment started, this is the second ever Grayson Waller effect on SmackDown ever since Grayson Waller got drafted to SmackDown or got called up from NXT via the draft. I hate fucking talk shows in wrestling. I don't like it. WWE all the time loves their talk show segments. I do not fucking understand the point of these. Literally, they can just be a normal segment, but instead they're just fucking, talk show segments. It's ridiculous. I am not a fan of talk show segments in wrestling. That is just me. What a week it has been in the WWE, says Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller, is one of the biggest and best stars and welcomes us to the new Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Asuka ends up coming out. Grayson Waller then congratulates Asuka, and Grayson tells her that she had an incredible performance at Night of Champions, and he shows what happened at the pay-per-view last Saturday, and then Grayson is like, "Whoa!" And then Asuka speaks in Japanese, "Raw Women's Champion," that's basically what she said. "He could not have said it any better," said Grayson Waller, and he points at the briefcases that are above in the ring, and he talks about Money in the Bank, and then he mentions Bianca possibly coming back. Asuka ends up speaking in Japanese, but then Grayson Waller laughs his ass off. And then what happens is Io Sky comes out. And when Io Sky comes out and Asuka's in the ring, shit's going to go down verbally when it comes to these two women. Speaks in Japanese. Both exchange words in Japanese. Asuka keeps on calling Io Sky a baka baka baka, which basically means stupid in Japanese. I believe, now somebody did a translation on Twitter, I believe Io Sky constantly, repeatedly called Asuka a piece of shit. If that translation is right, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Now, take it with a grain of salt. I do not think that Io Shirai constantly called Asuka a piece of shit, but that's hilarious. Fans on Twitter are the funniest. They can be the absolute worst as well. But we get a bunch of what chants by the crowd. And then Bayley comes out and says after they both qualify, one of them will win the Money in the Bank ladder match, and it's every woman for themselves. She says that a member of Damage Control will win the Raw Women's Championship. After that, Shotzi Blackheart comes out. There is nothing she would love more than to crush her dreams than some cold hard steel, because if there's anyone who is made for pure chaos for the Money in the Bank, it's her. And then Lacey Evans comes out, and then you already know what the fuck this segment is. It's your typical WWE segment where everybody fucking interrupts each other. Lacey Evans comes out. When was the last time Lacey Evans was on television? I have absolutely no goddamn idea. Then she says, "Shut up and salute her. None of them will take that contract. That contract is coming home to her. But first, she will take her Cobra Clutch and wrap it around Zelina Vega." Number one question I have to ask regarding Lacey Evans: how many times have they repackaged her? Holy shit. After that, Zelina Vega comes out. She constantly talks shit on Lacey Evans. Got a very good promo. There was only one problem there understanding. What is that? And Rhea Ripley, did that at Backlash because she was close to becoming the Raw Women's Champion, but Rhea Ripley underestimated her. And it will be much sweeter when she wins her qualifying match and wins the Money in the Bank match as a whole. Meanwhile, Asuka is in the stage. Bianca's behind her. Both women end up brawling, and then they try to get separated. After that, we got our next match, we got Lacey Evans taking on Zelina Vega in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. The fact that Lacey Evans, of all people, is in the Money in the Bank qualifying match, I mean, bro, I have no fucking idea why. If you could have put anybody else in that position, but you had to put Lacey Evans of all people. I mean, Lacey Evans at this point is completely irrelevant, man. Like, they how many times have they repackaged her? What was it, like twice? I have absolutely no idea, but Lacey Evans was never good in my opinion. During the break, Lacey hits a right hand. The match starts. Lacey ends up going after Zelina Vega, but then we get a cover by Lacey Evans into near fall. She spins Zelina around, and then she drops her down. We then get a roll-up by Zelina, but then she hits a kick on Lacey Evans. And then we get a cover into near fall. Zelina ends up going for a kick, and then we get a clothesline by Evans. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. After that, Lacey repeatedly drives Zelina face first onto the mat. Lacey then ends up booting Zelina Vega, and then she continues to work on Zelina. After that, Zelina fights back with a couple of kicks. After that, Zelina drives Lacey onto the turnbuckle. After that, we get a takedown by Zelina. Zelina ends up hitting the code red, and we get a cover, and Zelina ends up beating Lacey Evans very quickly. Less than, I don't know, at least less than 6 minutes, man. Like, that was honestly, shit, that was a very, very, very quick match, to say the least. The fact that Lacey Evans is in a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank has me laugh my ass off. After that, backstage, the LWO celebrates with Zelina Vega. After that, Santos Escobar tells her that Latinos will gather in celebration. And next week, he will win his Money in the Bank qualifying match. And he can see. And then Ray comes in. And Ray says it's only a matter of time that the entire locker room views Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega as Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. Gotta love the LWO. Absolutely fantastic. After that, in our next match, we have our second Money in the Bank qualifying match, but it's our first for the men. Real quick, let me grab my pen. I literally dropped my pen. We got Montez Ford versus L.A. Knight, in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. A lot of fans were complaining, and rightfully so, that we got Montez Ford and L.A. Knight battling over a Money in the Bank spot. Honestly, it would have been much more simpler and much easier for WWE instead of putting themselves in these booking issues to have Montez Ford in a separate match, so they won't have to, you won't have a scenario in which one guy won't be in the Money in the Bank and the other guy will be in the Money in the Bank. But instead, Montez Ford and LA Knight are fighting over each other for the Money in the Bank, and it sucks because I really want both of these men to be in the Money in the Bank. But you never know. WWE will probably do this bullshit last chance match in which we get Montez Ford involved in the match regardless. But this match was very good. Not that long of a match, of course. It's a TV match. But the biggest takeaway from this whole match is LA Knight. We all know LA Knight is super over with the crowd. But fans, even though LA Knight was the heel, fans were in favor of LA Knight over Montez Ford. I remember a certain point in the match when they were exchanging right hands, Montez Ford was getting booed, and LA Knight was actually getting cheered. Safe to say that LA Knight is a fucking superstar, man. This guy, you better push this man to the moon. I feel like freaking, what is that guy that got called up? Jesus Christ. He's feuding with Baron Corbin. Whatever. To the moon. To the moon. What is his name? Jesus Christ. It's like I lost my train of thought. Cameron Grimes, that's his name. I dead ass lost my train of thought. Holy shit. First time on the air. I lost my train of thought. But he's going to you better push LA Knight to the moon. No meaning to Cameron Grimes, but both lock up. LA Knight smacks Ford around. LA Knight is super over with the crowd, and you know this already. Both lock up again. We get a side headlock by Ford, and then Ford smacks him around in retaliation. After that, LA Knight, pushes him. Both men push each other. LA Knight, of course, is more over with the fans than Montez Ford. Ford ends up hitting a shoulder tackle, and then we get a drop kick by Ford, but then we get a clothesline in the corner. He then sends LA Knight into the corner, and then we get a right hand by Ford, but then we get a right hand by LA Knight taking Ford to the outside. Once we're back from commercial break, both men exchange right hands. We get a clothesline by Ford, followed by a running uppercut by Ford, and then he goes for another clothesline. After that, Ford goes for a side slam, and then he gets up on his feet and then hits a standing moonsault, but he rolls through. Knight then picks up Ford and then drops him down, but then we get a cover and a near fall. We then get a back elbow by LA Knight on Ford, but then LA Knight ends up hitting a springboard moonsault, but he misses. Enziguri by Ford. Ford ends up hitting the rock bottom after that. We get a cover by Ford and a near fall. We get a bunch of LA Knight chants by the crowd. And then we get a kick by Knight, but then we get a double clothesline taking both men down. Both men exchange shots. Ford then is on the apron, but then Ford ends up hitting the enziguri after that. Ford is on the top, but then Knight ends up hitting the right hand. We get a couple of body shots by Ford, but then Knight comes back, but then gets pushed off. Then Ford goes for the frog splash, but Ford misses. And then we get a roll-up by Ford, but then LA Knight ends up going for the roll-up of his own and grabs the ropes and ends up beating Montez Ford. And LA Knight qualifies for the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's pretty much safe to say that this was 100% the right decision to make. If you honestly believe that LA Knight shouldn't be in the Money in the Bank, I don't know what to tell you. LA Knight is just so fucking good at what he does. If you really look at it when it comes to what WWE is looking for in a superstar, LA Knight is 100% the total package. One, he can talk, he can wrestle, he has the look, and he has the physique. Everything about LA Knight screams WWE superstar. He literally screams everything that the people in WWE, the people that run WWE, he screams everything, that they would want in a wrestler. LA Knight is that guy. And honestly, he should be the guy that wins Money in the Bank, period. This guy is so fucking over. It's absolutely insane, man. And this guy is a heel, and the fans are just gravitating towards this man. I've always knew the caliber of the talent of LA Knight. Even when he was in Impact as Eli Drake, this guy was charismatic as a motherfucker. But LA Knight is definitely the guy to win Money in the Bank now. The only problem that we have is LA Knight is on SmackDown. The number one thing that WWE should have done, the thing that they should have done, was that they should have drafted LA Knight to Raw. Because if he won Money in the Bank and he is on the same brand as Roman Reigns, there is no fucking chance, absolutely no chance that LA Knight is going to be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns. It'd be absolutely ludicrous to think something like that. But a guy like Seth Rollins, again, this goes into the whole secondary world title thing because, again, even when Roman Reigns has those titles, if you compare Seth Rollins as the world champion to Roman Reigns as the undisputed champion, Roman Reigns, of course, he's going to be the top dog, and Seth Rollins is going to be second place. If you had moved him to Raw, you can definitely do something with LA Knight and Seth Rollins. But the thing is, I think when you hold Money in the Bank, you can switch between shows. I'm not sure about the rule about that. But again, LA Knight 100% should be the guy to win Money in the Bank. No question about it. He is literally the guy to do it. After that, we got a video package of Alba Fyre and Ava Raine. And after that, we immediately have the main event segment, the Roman Reigns 1,000 Day Celebration. Overall thoughts on this segment, man. This was pure perfection. Now, didn't really start off as good as I thought it was going to be, and that is not because of the wrestlers that were involved. It was for a piece of hardware, and of course I'm talking about the brand new Undisputed Universal Championship, and I have a photo of it right up here. There you go. That is the Undisputed WWE Championship. That is the new belt, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to be brutally honest, man. That belt looks like absolute dog shit. Now I know probably in the comments people are going to be like, oh, but WWE, they have to plaster that logo in the center of the plate because, branding, and you can give it to celebrities and you can give it to whoever wins the Super Bowl besides the Jaguars, because we all know who owns the Jaguars, whatever. But there's a certain way to do it. This right here, when it comes to belt designs, just screams pure laziness on WWE's part. Now, does it look better than, the blue Universal title? Yeah, but honestly, still, to me, this is the most laziest fucking design I have ever seen WWE do. Fun fact, I was there at Barclays Center. I went to SummerSlam 2016, where it was Seth Rollins taking on the Demon Finn Balor to crown the inaugural Universal Champion. I was there when they unveiled that title. Throughout the majority of the entire match, everybody was just chanting about how shit the belt looks. This belt looks like absolute dog shit. Not only that, when Roman Reigns held the belt and he looked at it, he had a weird look on his face like, what the fuck kind of belt is this? This is just, what is this? He even had a face of like, this looks like dog shit. I don't like it at all. I'm a belt fan myself. I'm a belt collector. I actually started collecting belts last year. I have like roughly around 4 of them right now. I got an AEW world title, an NWA world title, a Fandu big gold belt, and a TNA Wildcat World Heavyweight Championship. It's a bootleg version of that, but it's still the Wildcat version. I'm a big belt fan, and honestly, this belt just looks dog shit. Like, I know how fans were complaining about the World Heavyweight title design, but honestly, that World Heavyweight title design is actually starting to grow on me. Not only that, I saw this one tweet on Twitter saying that I think we should all appreciate the designs of not only the World Heavyweight title, but also the current U.S. title and the current Intercontinental title. That is how bad this belt looks. This belt right here that I'm pointing at right now looks like absolute fucking dog shit. WWE is absolutely lazy. Everybody expected the Winged Eagle belt. Like, people are saying like, oh, but the Winged Eagle, doesn't have the logo in the center. You can literally make it that way. But WWE, I mean, I don't know, man. These people are just fucking ridiculous. Now, when it comes to Cody Rhodes, if he wins, could that be a scenario in which he ends up changing this belt for the Winged Eagle? I have absolutely no idea. But we're just going to have to wait and see. But this belt looks like pure dog shit, in my opinion. That is all I got to say about that. But let's get on with this absolutely amazing segment that transpired. Of course, it is the 1,000-day celebration of yours truly, the current undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion, your tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. It's crazy how far Roman Reigns has come, because I remember back in 2015, 2016, 2017, and those 3 years in particular, man, Roman Reigns was shoved down our throats. I remember early 2018, it got so bad to the point where they started planting fake fans in the front rows of Raw shows, and whenever Roman Reigns would come out, the camera would immediately, constantly pan to that crowd chanting, Roman, Roman, Roman. The agenda was fucking crazy. But now with Roman Reigns as the top heel and the top star, honestly, in the industry, Roman Reigns has definitely come a long way. And it's safe to say, Roman Reigns is the greatest of our generation. And honestly, nobody can top Roman Reigns. Nobody. Triple H comes out, and he cuts a promo and says, on rare occasions, an athlete comes along that is so dominant that changes the face of their sport. When that happens, it will always be talked about for years to come. In boxing, we got Muhammad Ali. In basketball, it is Michael Jordan. In the WWE, we witnessed that greatness. And he welcomes the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes out with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman, of course. Triple H has the mic, and he tells Roman on behalf of WWE and the fans, we congratulate you on 1,000 days as champion. Something that hasn't been accomplished in almost 40 years. That is fucking unprecedented, in my opinion. That's absolutely insane. I believe he's about to top Pedro Morales in a couple of weeks. I believe. That is crazy. After that, truly, this is epic. And he presents him with the brand new undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I already gave you guys my thoughts on that. After that, Roman Reigns gets the belt, and he gets the microphone. No, says Roman Reigns. Instead of saying the city of where we're at, instead, he says the entire universe. Acknowledge me. Immediately, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, come out. And as soon as the Usos came out, you knew shit was gonna get real. So the Usos come out. And once we're back from commercial break, because immediately as soon as the Usos came out, we went to commercial break. The Usos are in the ring, and Jimmy especially is face-to-face with Roman Reigns. Jimmy is face-to-face with Roman Reigns, and Jay is literally behind Jimmy, just worried as a motherfucker. You can tell the look on the face of Jay, like he is fucking worried as shit. Roman Reigns tells Jay to kick him in the face. And Roman told Jay, I didn't stutter. Kick him in the face right now. because that's what he did to him. He took the tag titles away from him. Kick his brother in the face right now. I will not say it again. Kick him in the face. And then Jimmy immediately replies to Roman, the only one that needs fixing is you. Jay can't fix this. He is the one, that being Jimmy himself, is the one that kicked him in the face. That was me. And he did that when we were in Saudi Arabia. And he did not do that not to lead the bloodline. He did what he did because he was being a brother. And brothers treat brothers with love and respect. As of late, he hasn't been that good of a brother. What kind of brother manipulates, betrays, and beats down his own family? He's gone crazy. This right here, and he points to Jey Uso. That's his brother. And then he points to Solo. That's his brother. After he gets done by using him, he will use Solo and kick him to the side. And he will do what he always do. And then Roman has that just pissed off look at his face. And then Roman asks, after that, you want to know why this is going on? Because of him. He is the tribal chief. This guy is an imposter, talking like he is the leader. Well, right here, let's give Solo the microphone, and let's see who runs things around here. So he gives Solo the mic, and Solo says he acknowledges Roman Reigns. But then he points at both Jimmy and Jay. These two right here are my brothers. And then he gives Roman the microphone, and he sides with the Usos, or so we thought. So he sides with the Usos, and the crowd just goes fucking crazy. He sides with the Usos, and what happens is Jimmy says, so what's it going to be, Us? Want to run things together with respect, or end up on the island of relevancy all by yourself? And then after that, Roman gets so pissed, and, he tells him, he just screams, shut your mouth. And then Jimmy, as soon as Roman Reigns is furiously walking towards and closer to Jimmy, Jimmy does exactly what Roman did to both Jimmy and Jay at Night of Champions and at Jimmy a couple of weeks prior on SmackDown. And Jimmy just shoved the face of Roman Reigns. And Paul Heyman has this fucking distraught look on his fucking face. And what happens is after that, he shoves the face of Roman. And then what happens is Roman is just pissed off. But then Jey Uso, and we get a bunch of holy shit chants, but Fox, being Fox, censored the chants. Jey blocks Roman. And Jey tells Roman, not like this. And he looks at both Jimmy and Roman. We're better than this. We're family. He needs them. Jimmy says, we're stronger together. This is his brothers. So are him. He's always been. Let's do this together. Let's have respect. Let's run this damn place. They'll be all right. They are still the ones. And what happens is Roman gets a little emotional, and Roman and Jimmy hug it out like nothing happened. They hug it out. The crowd is just absolutely fucking happy. And then Roman Reigns, while he's hugging Jey, grabs the microphone, says, no. He says no. And then Jey is like, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck? And then Solo, immediately, who's standing right next to Jimmy Uso, hits the Samoan spike on Jimmy Uso. And Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman walk off. They walk off. Jey is just freaking out at this point. And after that, while Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa walk down, Paul Heyman, the wise man himself, asks Roman, hey, Tribal Chief, what about Jey? And Roman then replies to Paul Heyman, Jey will be what he always does. He will do what he always does. He will fall in line. And the show ends with Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso just laying in the middle of the ring after that Samoan spike that Solo Sikoa gave his own brother to. And the show ends. I don't know. I mean, I know the word cinema gets constantly thrown all over the place, but you gotta fucking admit, man, this whole shit was cinema. This was amazing. Everything about this just screamed cinema to me. This screamed pure emotion because these are actual family members. People need to realize the Usos are actually Roman Reigns' cousins. The bloodline ain't no tagline. The bloodline is a real fucking family. And this has been a fucking roller coaster. And it's only going to get better, man. You know, a lot of fans, I see them are in denial of, oh, this is not the hottest story in wrestling. You know, you're lying. Those people are in denial. The bloodline storyline is the best story in the last 10 to 15 years. It's certainly the best storyline in the modern era of wrestling. No other storyline can top it. I'm being 100% serious, man. Everything about this just was fucking pure perfection. Just the sheerness and the evilness in the eyes of Roman Reigns when he tells Jimmy no. And then he has Solo Sikoa swerve all of us and ends up hitting the Samoan spike on Jimmy Uso. Shit's going to get real. Now, where do we go from here? And this is the biggest takeaway that I talked about at the top of this review. Everything about this creates that unpredictability nature. You know, what is Roman Reigns' next challenger? Is he gonna face Jimmy Uso at Money in the Bank? Because Jimmy Uso was the one that kind of caused all this. You know, in the most recent weeks. You know, Jimmy Uso was kind of the one that was getting the shit end of the stick throughout these past couple of weeks. We all thought it was going to be Jay. And at the end of the day, it's going to be Jay at the end of the day because he is the catalyst of this whole story. Ever since Sami Zayn hit Roman with that chair, we all knew Jey Uso was the catalyst to everything. Just look back at 2020. Look back late 2020 where Roman Reigns had Jey Uso fall in line. And that lasting line that Roman Reigns told Paul Heyman, Jay will do what he always does. He will fall in line. What if Jay doesn't fall in line? What if Jay doesn't fall in line and he ends up wanting to challenge Roman Reigns for the Undisputed title? If Jimmy is going to challenge Roman, which we know he will not beat him, then that's going to cause Jay to step up and challenge Roman. Now, is he going to be the guy that beats Roman Reigns? I do not think so. Absolutely not. I genuinely believe Cody Rhodes is still the guy to do it. And I think that match should be happening at SummerSlam. I know there's been a lot of reports saying that the Cody and Roman rematch should happen at next year's WrestleMania. But I think that's a little bit too late and it's a little bit too long. But if they go full-fledged and we head to WrestleMania and they end up doing that match and it ends up paying off for Cody, I'll gladly come on this show and say I was wrong. But today, again, just like I said at WrestleMania, today ain't that day. But everything about this just was fantastic. Roman Reigns, he basically turned the Universal Championship from pure obscurity to just like full, Roman Reigns, no pun intended, but God mode, man. Like, Roman Reigns is the god of pro wrestling. I know Kenny Omega would say that shit, but like, bro, Roman Reigns is the fucking GOAT right now. Literally, nobody is on the fucking level of Roman Reigns. He turns fucking shit to gold, man. And this whole thing was pure gold. Everything about this was pure 24 karat gold, man. This shit was fantastic. Let alone, look, the design of the belt is shit, but that ain't important. The important thing was the story that was told. And the story is only going to get better as we head towards the next couple of months. Because this whole story is the downfall of the bloodline. And more importantly, it's the downfall of Roman Reigns. Those are my thoughts on this segment. This was amazing. Just pure amazingness. All right. That was my SmackDown review from June 2nd, 2023. We definitely talked a lot regarding the whole bloodline stuff. And the bloodline story is only going to get better. But that was my SmackDown review from June 2nd, 2023. Overall thoughts on the show. It wasn't really the best show. Really the main event, the main importance on this show was the Roman Reigns 1,000-day celebration. And that was really all. But nonetheless, that 1,000-day celebration segment was absolutely amazing. So yeah, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Push that bell for notifications and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is Flamin' Rick, Ricky DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys later. Tomorrow, I should say, for episode 16 of the WrestleHavoc Podcast.